Tennessee Wraith Chasers. We're kicking down the doors on the most haunted places in America to trap the spirits that lurk inside.
Whoa! Yo!
The inmates are breaking back into the asylum.
Somebody down there? Something just freaking moved right here.
The key to catching a ghost is to combine modern scientific method
with some serious backwoods southern know-how.
Oh!
Because these things don't care if you get scared.
We're a band of brothers, and we don't just hunt ghosts. We're out to become the first team to ever trap one.
What the hell's going on, dude?
This is Paranormal Skeptic Academy, using critical thinking and scientific evidence to analyze your favorite ghost hunted shows. You'll never view them the same again. You have been warned. I'm back with one of my favorite ghost hunting teams, Tennessee Wraith Chasers, or what I like to call them, the Redneck MacGyvers. This is episode 3 of Ghost Asylum from their first season as aired on Destination America. The boys travel to Maysville, Kentucky to investigate the abandoned Hayswood Hospital. This hospital has been through several renditions. In the 1800s, the Wilson family built a small medical facility known as the Wilson Infirmary. It was ran by Mary Pearl Wilson until her death in 1908. The small facility was demolished as to make way for a larger hospital to better serve the growing community. In 1915, the Hayswood Seminary was built. The part of the building that was built in 1915 still stands, as well as the 1925 and the 1971 additions. In the 1970s, the Hayswood Hospital had an 87-bed capacity. However, this wasn't enough as the community continued to grow. Given its location on a crowded main street, the hospital ran out of room to expand and a new hospital was built on the outskirts of town, leading to the closing of Hayswood in 1983. In the 1990s, the property was bought by a private investor with the hopes of renovating the hospital into something for modern use, like offices or apartments. However, due to financial issues, that never came to be. They tried to sell it back to the city for $55,000, but the cost to demolish and clean up the building would be well over $2 million. The property now sits in limbo as ownership is being worked out in the courts. People in the paranormal community believe that old hospitals almost guarantee hauntings. Their logic is that because of the pain and suffering often experienced in hospitals, and especially hospitals from the late 1800s and the early 1900s, lends these places to experience high levels of paranormal activity. People who have visited and investigated Hayswood report feelings of being watched. Neighbors have claimed to seeing glowing lights in the windows, an apparition that stands in the third-story window, more on this later, shadow people, disembodied voices, babies crying, and a mother holding her dead infant child. Standard fare for these old buildings, but is there any truth to these reports? This is what our team is trying to find out, and what I'll be looking at in this episode of Paranormal Skeptic Academy.
This week, we journey to Maysville, Kentucky to trap a ghost in the rotting carcass of a building known as the Hayswood Infirmary.
I'm here not to hurt you, so please don't hurt me.
This asylum's horrific past is spattered with suffering and tortured souls, which are believed to run rampant in its halls.
Oh my God. You need help in here?
Hayswood is also home to one of the most famous videos of paranormal evidence ever collected. So it's time for us to give our 2 cents on the claims.
Looking for the Hayswood ghost. Where are you at?
And see if we can capture a spirit of our own.
Oh, K2 here. K2, plug it up.
In the dead of winter, our team braves the elements to go hunting for spirits in an abandoned infirmary. You may have heard mention of the famous Hayswood ghost video in that clip. I looked up this video and it is a bit creepy, but we'll get into more detail on that a little later on. This building is located on the banks of the Ohio River and is in a pretty densely populated place, which explains why it wasn't used after the 1980s. It had no room to expand. This is an important piece of information, especially when dealing with EVPs. Because of the close proximity to the river and other buildings, outside noises can and are heard that could be confused for EVPs. The team arrives at the site and digs into the background of the place like they normally do. They speak with local historians, but set the tone for the horrors that allegedly went on at this place. I think it's worth mentioning again because I know I said this before. Compared to modern medical practices of the late 19th and early 20th century seem barbaric in comparison. For whatever reason, ghost hunters seem to think this leads to more hauntings. They always use the term energy to explain this, as if that's really explaining anything at all. They bring up the fact that this hospital was used to treat war veterans, and this will be relevant later on. A couple of local residents recount stories of seeing moving objects or hearing strange sounds. Now let's see what they have to say about the famous Hayswood ghost video.
One of these haunting shadows was captured on camera, went viral on the internet, and nicknamed the Hayswood Ghost. Now it's our chance to step inside this monstrosity and see what horrors still remain.
So this video was shot some time ago, I believe in 2006. It was recorded on a point-and-shoot camera, and its quality is terrible. It was shot at night and the video was real grainy, distorted, and pixelated. You can hear a girl mention a window, then she pans over to one of the windows, zooms in to find a white face staring back at her. She gasps, the face disappears, and the video ends. That is the famous Hayswood ghost video. Now, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but between us, it's clearly a fake. The way the face moves, the way the image is focused, the way the video cuts out, the way it's directed at the window, all of it clearly shows it to be a fake. I wonder what the conclusion our boys will come to. The answer may surprise you. Or will it? The team starts to explore the site, but Porter and Chris head off to look at the unedited Hayswood ghost video. Doogie, Chasey, and Brandon stay behind and head up to the 3rd floor for their baseline sweep. This building is trashed and crumbling, and the guys have to wear respirators, so it's a dangerous place to be in. Porter and Chris meet up with the owner of the unedited Hayswood ghost video, and he mentions that he didn't actually shoot the video. The person that did is anonymous.
How you doing?
Looking for Sean?
I'm Sean. Understand you guys are here in town looking for Hayswood ghosts.
That's why we're here.
It's become really a kind of a viral video.
Been debated everywhere, huh?
Been debated everywhere.
So where exactly in the hospital was this taken?
It was actually filmed by a friend of ours that took it outside the hospital. The video was given to us. They didn't want any money for it, any notoriety or anything like that.
What year was it filmed in?
It has to be at least half a dozen years ago, so probably 06, 07.
Okay.
Was it captured at night?
It was at night, yeah.
Okay. You know what kind of camera it was?
It was just an off-the-shelf, regular digital camera. You know, it takes video.
What do you think it is?
You know, I don't know. It's creepy. Knowing the people who took it, I think it's absolutely legit.
It's something you just have to see.
You know, here it is.
Gives me the chills every time I see it.
Right there.
Look at the window.
What the world?
So
let's play that again.
you gotta,
I got the chills.
yeah, I'm telling you.
As you analyze all aspects of this raw, unedited video, you can see that the video is really rough and the image that's in the window is real smooth. There's a thought in my mind that someone may have doctored the tape. So when we get back to Tennessee, I'm going to spend more time analyzing the raw footage and see if it's fake.
I was pleasantly surprised that Porter expressed some skepticism over this video. The owners of the video used a typical trope in ghost hunting circles, and what was blatantly used as evidence in the Finding Bigfoot episode, and that is trusting eyewitness accounts. Sean mentions that he knows who took the video, and he trusts them. That may be so, but that's not evidence of anything happening. You can know and trust someone, and they can still doctor, lie, or misremember events. The evidence has to be able to stand on its own. We're back at the hospital as Brandon, Doogie, and Chasey continue their sweep. Brandon and Doogie are on the 2nd floor, and Chasey heads down to the morgue. The morgue is said to be a hotspot for EVPs. It seems like every one of these groups has their own pet theories about how ghosts behave, and Chasey is no different.
One of the things that we do in these asylums to generate paranormal activity is the recreation experiment. We recreate the environment that these spirits would have been in when they died to try to get a response.
Recreation experiment? How do we know that's even a thing? What data do you have to show that this recreation elicits responses from spirits? Write any papers on it? Publish any studies? Here's what I think. I think that they tried it once, captured some strange noise, and boom, experiment confirmed. Brandon and Doogie are on the second floor looking for moving objects and question the spirits contained within these very walls.
Is this where you did surgery? Getting the proximity at the blue. Sure. Yeah, here we go again. Proximity. So it's following us around, checking out what we're doing.
Ah, the K2 EMF meter. We meet again, old friend. Never leave home without it. To me, it sounds like Brandon just turned it on, and when you do, you hear that high-pitched whine, and then it settles down, and you hear the typical sound those devices make as it detects environmental EMFs. The brand they use are notoriously sensitive, and when you first turn them on, they peak out and then settle down. I don't know if they know this and are being dishonest, or that they think that's how they're supposed to work. So like always, they're using this equipment wrong. Porter and Chris are heading back to the site and again express their doubts about the video. They arrive and night falls and they are doing their pre-investigation meeting. Chasey drew the short straw and will be spending some time in the icebox that's in the morgue. But we have a new tool, a spirit board.
So, spirit board, we got that thing ready?
Usually we just go into an investigation with our meters and cameras. This time I decided to mix things up a little bit, and I created a giant spirit board. It's got lights and power, and hopefully it'll help us communicate with these spirits.
It's a giant LED Ouija board. You have to be kidding me. I want one of these things so bad. I must have one. Hey, Kenny and Lou, we gotta get on this. Chris and Porter again express skepticism about the video, but just to be sure, Porter wants to check out the window the alleged Hayswood ghost was seen in. Brandon, Chasey, and Doogie head up to the third floor. Chris and Porter find the room where the video caught the ghost face, and I'm not talking about the Wu-Tang Clan member, and conduct an EVP session. They ask a few questions, get a few EMF meter hits, therefore, evidence. After walking around a bit, Chris hears something strange.
Hold on. I thought I heard a female voice for a second.
We got 2 hits on the EMF meter when we asked about the Hayswood ghost. Then I definitely heard some kind of faint whisper, which I think was a woman. Maybe the Hayswood ghost is a female patient that died in surgery. We're just gonna have to check the recorder later and see what that voice actually said.
Huh? That sounded like breathing through a respirator. Not a female voice, but I'll save you the trouble, Chris. It said absolutely nothing. Move on. Up on the third floor, the spirit board is in full effect, and by that I mean it's leaning against a wall with half the lights out. I had such high hopes for the spirit board. Chasey starts asking questions and gets a K2 hit right next to the giant electrified spirit board. No lie, he damn near touches the electrified spirit board with the meter and gets excited because he gets a hit on his K2. Oh, sometimes I feel like they're not even trying. Doogie then hears something down the hall.
Go to this yes right here and try to make it go out. Did you guys hear that? What'd you hear? I heard footsteps. I didn't hear no footsteps. You guys keep a watch up there. I'm gonna see where these footsteps come from. Roger that.
I swear that I heard something walk up right behind me. Right before that, we got a K2 hit by the spirit board right after we mentioned Pearl Harbor. Maybe there's a soldier hanging out by the spirit board that followed me back down the hallway.
That sounded like a croaking frog or someone chewing corn nuts, but definitely not footsteps. But they did hear it right after a K2 hit, therefore, evidence. Doogie and the crew get a few more K2 hits, and as we've already discussed, these models are terribly unreliable, hence why they're favored by ghost hunters worldwide. Then, all of a sudden, their meters go crazy.
This spirit is so aggressive, I am freaked out of my mind right now. I couldn't even spit out my next question before the meter started going nuts
Do
again.
you not want us here? Do you not want anything to do with us?
Is that the reason why you're not talking to us on the spirit board? Because you don't want us to be here?
Do you want us to leave?
you want us to leave, make that meter peg out.
I mean, I think there's something wrong with the halls, but I don't think it wants itself known right now.
No, the ghost isn't using the spirit board because it's a goddamn electrified oversized Ouija board. Meanwhile, the whole time their meters are going crazy, they're standing right next to this goddamn electrified oversized Ouija board. They leave the area because they think the spirit is getting agitated with them so as not to piss it off. They also get no response from the Hayswood ghost. They review their evidence and all they have is a strange sound and an EMF hit. So, no evidence at all. They split up into 2 different locations, with Brandon, Doogie, and Chris heading to the 2nd floor surgery ward and Chasey and Porter heading to the morgue. Doogie calls out to any spirit that could potentially hear him, but he focuses on doctor spirits because this is a surgery ward. Duh. Now watch and listen to confirmation bias in action.
Who's the next doctor that needs to take the board? Who's next? Oh, look. Got a K2 hit on that. Get a K2. Who's the doctor? I can write you on the board. You have first dibs on this surgery right now? Which OR room? You want 1?
God, look at that, all the way to red.
Who's going into surgery next?
This is the problem with ghost hunting. Any anomaly can be considered evidence. What did he really prove? Nothing. They continue with their questioning and get more EMF hits, and they assume it was a surgeon because they're in the surgery ward, of course. But hear it in their own words, not mine.
In fact, when we mentioned surgeon, it started going.
I mean, I definitely think that's our number one thing is surgeon.
I think we found some ammo for sure.
We got repeated hits on our meters, so it definitely seems we were able to interact with a surgeon. I just hope Chasey and Porter are having as much luck down in the morgue.
This is so frustrating. They didn't catch or find anything, and even if they did, what they found is hardly sufficient evidence to warrant the conclusions they came to. We move down to Chasey and Porter in the morgue as they explore the room. Chasey decides to lay inside one of the ice boxes so he can recreate a scene that may influence a ghost to manifest because evidence, I guess. Chasey is in the box and starts talking to spirits. Porter is outside of the box and talking to spirits. And nothing happens. Chasey panics. Porter opens the door to let him out. And nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens.
While Porter starts scanning through the evidence we've gathered, the rest of us keep searching the asylum. So far, we feel like we've made contact with the doctor in the surgery ward. Nothing ever tried to communicate with us using the spirit board, but it certainly seemed to aggravate a spirit in veterans recovery, which we believe to be a soldier.
What you believe and what is actually true are 2 different things. Let's see what evidence they found.
Listen to this.
What?
That's like a demonic scream or something.
It says, tell them to turn it off.
Wonder if it's like a military personnel or something.
You know, they were in the war. They dealt with the bombs and flashes of light they seen. I mean, maybe the spirit board triggers some kind of post-traumatic stress disorder symptom, you know.
That's a good point. They got a reaction. It just wasn't the one was wanting and hoping for.
Yeah.
What the? All I heard was static. I did not hear what they said they heard, and even after they told us what they thought they heard, I still didn't hear it. That is what they consider evidence? Yeesh. Wonder what else they think they found.
Man, Porter, I sat there and spent all that time in that morgue box. Tell me we got something out of that.
He's still warm. We're going to get him going here. Door number 2.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think there was something down there with both of us.
Door number 2. Door 2?
It's almost affirming that, yeah, it's in door number 2. So listen to it again.
Door number 2.
If you're thinking about it, it might have been drawn back to something like a nurse carrying out orders and stuff like you might have thought you was a doctor saying door number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And gonna go get the body or whatever, so.
That's a catch right there.
Getting inside that ice box was a horrible experience. I'm just real glad that we got some type of evidence out of it.
Wow. I am speechless. I just don't know what to say, but I'm hesitant to go on, but what's next?
What about this female voice that we heard? Remember on the first floor we were looking for the Hayswood ghost?
Where are you at? I thought I heard a female voice for a second.
Could have been just me breathing.
Did we catch anything?
Man, I went into the audio, listened to it really closely, and tried to see if I could find out what that was. I think the respirators are contaminating a lot of our audio evidence. We need to get rid of the respirators and just wear the paper masks.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that voice wasn't the Hayswood ghost either.
Why in the hell would their mask be messing with the audio? Are they assuming the audio equipment is picking up their breathing, or that the ghosts are wearing masks as well? If the audio equipment is picking up their breathing, then why not be skeptical of all the other noises you call evidence as well? Okay, now we get to my favorite part of the show, the Redneck Ghost Trap. Let's see what they came up with today, folks.
Brandon, what are you thinking on a trap, brother?
I'm actually wanting to try out a water trap. Water has the ability to amplify sound, and any kind of spirits or entities we're dealing with in this place might be attracted to that trap because anything they might have to say will be amplified in that water.
Yep. We can actually get like a current flowing in the water. Might even help us capture the ghosts.
It's a good idea.
I think a sweep tomorrow is going to be a big bonus for us to try to get a central location to set the trap.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, let's do it, fellas.
Okay, water doesn't actually amplify sound per se. What water does is reflect sound waves so they can carry further. If you're in a boat in the middle of a lake and someone on shore is yelling at you, their sound wave will bounce off the water and it will push it further through the air. So already their science is wrong. Then they want to have a current run through the water? Why? All that's going to do is make a water hazard. I'm surprised these guys haven't seriously hurt themselves yet. The next day, they are back at the site to build the trap and do one more sweep of the place.
I think since I got so much crazy stuff going on last night, I'm gonna go in here and do a daytime solo sweep because we're still kind of in limbo about where we're gonna put this trap.
Brandon and I are going to stay here and work on the trap. We got a submersible pump that's going to give us a whirlpool for constant water flow. And the mason jar will have the limestone.
So you're thinking maybe the energy will be contained in the limestone?
Yeah.
We got water and electricity. What could go wrong?
While you guys are doing this, we're going to be at the mayor's office. We're going to go up there and talk to him about Pearl Harbor victims who were treated here.
Let's do this thing. You guys go talk to the mayor, get us kicked out of town. I'm sure we'll come back with an eviction notice.
The mayor conversation is pointless and uninformative. The mayor's father used to be a surgeon at the hospital, and the boys are going to use the name of the mayor's father as a way to directly communicate with the spirit. We learned that mustard gas victims were treated there, and they try to make a connection to mustard gas and shell shock. And maybe, just maybe, a mustard-gassed, shell-shocked veteran is still lingering in the halls. Back at the site, Doogie is rolling solo, trying to get a hit on his EMF. He's scouting a location for their water trap. He dismisses the morgue as a location because he didn't get a response. He heads upstairs to the veterans ward and immediately gets an EMF hit. He chases the EMF around the floor for a bit and finds random pockets of noise. Now let's cue to the water trap montage.
Yep. Okay, there you go.
Water is a strong conduit and amplifier of sound, so spirits looking to communicate are often drawn to still water for this reason.
Let's see how big a mess we can make.
There is an ancient belief that spirits cannot travel among moving water because of the electric charge produced by kinetic energy in the water's current. This is the basis for my limestone water pump trap. Limestone contains exoskeletons of marine life. Combining limestone with moving water could definitely be a connection to why it holds energy.
Should be waterproof.
We will mount an EMF meter on our water tank, so if a spirit enters the water to communicate, it sets off the meter. We will then fire up the pump, creating an electric current in the water to prevent the spirit from escaping. Its energy should then absorb into our limestone crystal so we can contain it and take it back to Tennessee.
Like I said, now that we got everything in there, we'll plug it in, give it one more test.
Yeah.
There you go. There it goes.
All right.
Sweet.
So much nonsense to unpack in that clip, I don't even know where to start. Ghosts can't move across moving water because of kinetic energy? Says who? Oh, ancient people? Seems legit. Limestone conducts energy? What? And electrifying the water will trap the energy of a ghost? How does the limestone know the difference between ghost energy and DC current? Just shut up, C-Web, with your logical questions. Just believe in the magic of limestone. Doogie joins the group after a solo investigation and has some astounding evidence. Isn't that always the case, though?
Guys, I think I just caught what we've been looking for.
All right.
Ask him. You have a veteran in surgery? And it's almost like something there, it almost clears its own throat. Yeah. You have a veteran in surgery? You have a veteran in surgery?
That's cool, dude. Almost sound like a growl or something to me.
Like something's like...
Yeah, I heard that, though.
Maybe this growling spirit is the real Hayswood ghost.
What in the hell are these jabronis talking about? I didn't hear anything. This is the worst I've seen in these shows. It's like they aren't even trying anymore. Now they're trying to decide on the veterans ward or the surgery ward to place their trap. Using expert analysis and all the wonderful evidence they gathered in the past 2 days, they decide to put the trap in the surgery ward. Night falls once again, and they set their trap. To make sure they get what they need, they put a voice recorder and an EMF meter on the side of the tank. They start asking questions to the darkness, waiting for a response.
Is this a veteran?
So you know Dr. Cartmel. Can you touch the antenna if you know Dr. Cartmel? Are you right here with us?
Did you hear that? What was that?
The activity we're getting in the veterans ward is wild. Our meters are responding to direct questions about the soldiers, and then we heard the growling sound again. Maybe this is a soldier who died here from some awful poisoning and needs our help to escape.
Or maybe it was just random noise in an old hospital. Meter moves? Ghost. Hear a strange sound? Ghost. Feeling gassy? Ghost. Everything is evidence for a ghost. They ask more questions, get more EMF hits, and goosebumps. Finally, the meter is going through the roof, and y'all know what that means, right?
Dude, 246 milligauss.
246?
246, and then drop straight back down to 0. Holy crap, dude.
246 is absolutely the craziest milligauss reading I've ever got in my whole life. I've never seen it happen before, ever.
Is that supposed to mean something? They think the spirit is following them, so they're going to try and bring the spirit to the trap? Now, I wonder what could be moving with them that could set off the EMF meter. Could it be? Nah, not their camera equipment. Must be a ghost then. Doogie is leading the ghost to the water trap.
You still getting hits?
Yep. It's led me all the way to you guys. Look, walk you right up here. Look at this. Just like a jacuzzi. This is your way out of the hospital if you want to go. Okay? Just jump on in the water. That water's here to help you. If there's more than one of you, go ahead. We'll get all of you out. Would you like to go visit Tennessee? Wow. Well, if you want to come to Tennessee with us, come over here to this tank. You have to go there. K2 hit, K2 hit, K2 hit.
Oh, K2 hit. Look.
K2, plug it up.
Those are 2 huge hits.
I hope, my friend, I really hope that you're in there, because we're going to take you back home to Tennessee.
Please let there's something in there.
So Doogie is leading the ghost to the water trap. As he gets closer, the EMF meter on the side of the tank starts going off, and when it goes off, they plug in the water pump because energy or something. So they think they caught this spirit in their water trap. I'm not sure how they know this, they just do. They fish out the limestone ghost trap and head back to Tennessee to review the evidence.
All right, guys, we went all the way to Maysville to find the Hayswood ghost. We got him?
We've got a really good piece of audio evidence here. This is when I was asking if the entity knew Dr. Cartmel, if it did, to touch the antenna. So you know Dr. Cartmel. Can you touch the antenna if you know Dr. Cartmel?
Let's hear it.
So you know Dr. Cardinal. Can you touch the antenna if you know Dr. Cardinal? What's happening here at the very end, you hear this breathy voice that comes back in.
It sounds like to me it just repeated
What I said. So just listen to it one more time.
Cartmill.
Is it me or am I just not hearing it? Because all I hear is background noise. Maybe I've been doing this too long and it's just random noise to me by now. But yet again, they demonstrate how subjective EVPs are and are hardly scientific proof of anything. They try to make the connection to that random, barely audible noise to a veteran that has trouble breathing. Remember the mustard gas? Yeah, that's their reasoning. Porter also tries to make a connection to the respirators from their first night. He said since they were just using the paper mask, it rules out respirator noise. This is true, but it's not evidence to support his conclusion. Why not be skeptical of all noises then? All right, what's next?
What else do we have?
I finally got some time to analyze the Hayswood Ghost video. Kind of toned it up a little bit to try to look and see if I could see something that would really say that this is a faked video. When you look at it like this, I mean, it really has some humanoid type appearance to it.
It looks like a white mask.
It really does, and I mean, you can matrix a face into just about anything when you're looking at it. And at one point, the camera shifts, but the face in the window doesn't move.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
With the smoothness around the center of the image, the difference in the pixelation between the face and the window and all the rest of the picture, I really do think this is computer generated.
I agree with you, man.
The Hayswood Ghost video is one of the most famous videos of paranormal activity on the internet. As an analyst, I'm loving the opportunity to take a look at this video. And in our professional opinion, it's bogus.
Hey, I give credit where credit is due. Good job, boys. Now we just need to get them to use that skepticism all the time. But I'm not holding my breath on that one. But we all know why we're here. Did they catch a ghost in the limestone trap? They put the stone in their Faraday cage. So let's go to the tape and find out.
If this thing makes a peep, you'll be able to hear it.
Are you hearing anything?
I ain't hearing anything.
Well, fellas, it's looking more and more to me like it's a rock, but Duke, you were having the activity, so why don't you see what you can do with that thing?
Let me talk to the rock. Are you in the box? Did we get you out of the hospital? Is this Dr. Cartmill?
Well, fellas, I ain't giving up yet. I'm gonna test it one more thing. I'm gonna get a K2 meter and take it out of the jar and just hold it up to it, see if we get any anomalies.
So you're gonna take it out of the jar here in my shop?
Well, yeah. What better place? You like ghosts?
Rock, you got anything you want to tell us?
We're talking to Rock.
Come on now.
Guys, this case has been a great case. We went to a great place. Big creepy asylum, but we just talked to a wet rock, in my opinion.
And that is how I expected it to end. Classic TWC. And that wraps up another episode of Ghost Asylum and a whole lot of nothing. I mean, the evidence they say they got is weak even by ghost hunting standards, and their trap was just stupid. I wasn't impressed with any of it. The only thing they did get right was to dismiss the Hayswood Ghost video as fake. Now, if only they can use that skepticism the rest of the time, but they're too caught up in their own fantasy world to not make the connection. So instead, it comes down to yours truly to point out their shortcomings. That wraps it up for another episode of Paranormal Skeptic Academy. This has been Paranormal Skeptic Academy. If you like what I do, head on over to patreon.com/PSA, and for as little as $2 an episode, you can help support my efforts. Each patron will receive the video version of the normal episodes, along with a special RSS feed to add to your favorite podcatcher. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at cweb619. Send me feedback at paranormalskepticacademy@gmail.com. Like the Facebook page, and leave me a review on iTunes and Stitcher. This has been Paranormal Skeptic Academy, schooling your favorite ghost hunters.